Breaking free activity 5. I mean, it's not bad. You should reflect on this at least once. I don't, like he says, how would you feel if you didn't really need people's approval, if you didn't care what people thought about you? And I think that's actually stupid and selfish. You know, if you go dive deep into who you want to be, you know your core values. We do that in Man in Control. You know how you give to the world. We do that in 3 places in the program, Man with Purpose especially. Okay, when you learn how to do this effectively and fill your own cup, that you don't even waste time on that shit.
Right.
Like, again, do you want to move forward, or do you want to sit and reflect and kind of woe is me, and oh, I can't. So when we have a man in the program who's struggling, let's say his wife doesn't want to go on dates with him. She always makes fun of him, blames him for bad dates and things like that. Well, I wouldn't be worried about that approval or disapproval. I'd be saying, who do I want to be? And I'd say, did you go on the date without her?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So, you can reflect with activity 5 and think like, well, what would it be like if I just went on the date without her because I didn't seek? Be careful how it says did not care about how people think.
Right.
It can sound quite negative. He does a good job of making sure you realize a certain level of selfishness is okay.
Right.
But
that's right.
It's not selfish to go on a date. If you invited your wife, if you tried to include her while you were out, even though she wasn't there, you sent a picture, for example, or you bring a dinner home for her. We don't care about the approval. You did everything you want to do because you want to date your wife.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. This is what I do. This is who I am. I use the word imagine a lot, not only in my own life, but I also do it with other people. And I say, when someone says the word imagine in my ear, like in my earshot, I automatically form a picture in my head purposefully and willfully. I do that. And I've taught myself to do it. So think about these reflection questions. What if you didn't care? Well, why don't you do this? Instead of that, saying, imagine.
Conquer the monster, activity 5.
Yeah, conquer the monster, activity 5. Imagine who you would be if you could be anybody.
Let's take that a step further because we started to talk about that. Let's dive deeper because we're going to really define this later. It'll fit in so perfectly. But right now, what you can start to do is what would make you feel good? Okay, i.e., you approve of yourself. Okay, so it doesn't matter I'll say this, for example, because you brought up sobriety as one of his things on the list. Okay,
right.
So let's say you're having trouble dealing with your emotions, fighting with your partner, and drinking obviously isn't going to help that right now. I wish that I cut out alcohol while I was figuring this all out.
Right.
I think alcohol added 2 to 3 years onto my journey.
Even if you weren't drunk, it still
inhibits you to think clearly.
It makes your emotions
react. That's right. So in Man with Impact, in the very beginning of the course of the reset, we talk about how you can lose alcohol right now and already start to get there faster because you don't get triggered as easily and stuff like that. Right. So think about this for activity, conquer the monster, activity 5. Now, don't just imagine what you'd be like. Okay, actually start to do things that would make you feel proud about yourself. Then we don't need to worry about caring about somebody's approval because your friends could make fun of you all they want for not drinking.
Right.
Who the fuck is right? You are. Right?
That's right. Yeah. And we made some notes when we talked about this earlier about freedom, and so I don't want to sit here and develop the mindset of what it would be like if I weren't this person with a woman or with my wife or whatever. I want to feel like I want to understand what it would be like to be me.
That's right. Yeah,
to be me.
Think about that rejection example with the date we just talked about. You don't have to worry. She's just going on the dates with you again.
Because, like my wife told me some years ago, she said, just treat me like you did when we dated.
Yes.
There was no expectation. I was just being me, and she loved it. She loved me, and I loved who she was. But this nice guy, man, he got up and took care of some things.
It's funny that you brought that up because those of you who are using No More Mr. Nice Guy as part of your toolbox, it's fantastic. But part of what's missing from this is becoming this authentic version that we're talking about, which, by the way, is bullshit because you're never done rising. You're never going to be your best version. Let's get real.
You're always rising.
That's right. And so you go back to trying to treat your wife like you did when you're dating. You're thinking about flowers. You're thinking about maybe a little spontaneity, like whatever. But what you're forgetting is all the foundation was there. You did love each other. You did approve of each other. You did validate each other. You didn't have all these wounds. And you forget about all the other things you did. You just talked about what kind of validation are you giving your wife if you want to go on dates? How much are you approving of her?
Right.
Or how much you disapprove?
Yeah, and Glover will talk about covert contracts in the future of this book. But you got to be careful that when you're even doing this for yourself, that you're not thinking, then I can be this guy, then she'll love me, or then this will work out, or that's not authenticity. That's not being real. That's actually still being enslaved.
That's right.